Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to B Sports Picks. So yesterday I gave away one parlay that was going to start the ladder challenge. The Yankees just shit the bed completely. So the Brewers did come through on the plus 1.5, and obviously the haters are going to come out. So basically, this sports betting is very disheartening sometimes. I've been doing this for a long time, and we can go on a massive run. For example, a couple of months ago, I went like on a 30-1 run, and that one loss, everybody was talking shit. So it is what it is. We're going to continue. I'm going to go through the entire slate, which I've already done, and I'm going to explain two games. I do the research. If you see all my videos, I actually put into work. So sometimes the stuff just does not go our way, and it is what it is. We continue pushing forward. I'm going to give you the two very strong plays that are in today's slate. And one of them is extremely strong, but the public is massively all over it, which again could be a negative thing because when the public is all over it, they say like the Vegas makes the call, like, hey, don't let them win and stuff like that. Again, I'm not going to go into the politics of this, but I do have one very strong play, and then the other one is a little iffy, but I will explain that when I get there. So if you stay tuned to this video, I'm going to show you the receipts of what happened yesterday very quickly, and I'm going to give you two plays right in this video. All right, so like I said, the Brewers did come through on that -1.5, or I'm sorry, the plus 1.5. They lost the game, but they won the bet. But the Yankees just completely shit the bed. They were down 6-0 at one point in the beginning of the game. They ended up scoring 3, and then they still lost that first 5 innings completely. Then they ended up coming back. They were winning like 7-6, and then they just shit the bed again, and they stayed at 7. These guys just demolished them. So overall, these guys were getting a lot of home runs off Schlittler, which is ridiculous because he was one of the ace pitchers on the board. And again, that's why this kind of stuff is disheartening, because if I showed all the stats and I showed you the pitcher versus the batter, I showed you everything, and then they still lose like by 6 runs. So again, we just kind of got to keep going forward, and I'm going to show you the plays for today. And let's not let this one loss and the overall picture on the VIP was a bad day in general. So all the wins from the previous day, pretty much we gave it back yesterday. Let's push forward. Let's get the 2 plays on the board. One thing I did want to talk about very quickly is I set this up where I'm getting my sharp line monitor, which I've showed several times on this page. I'm getting these now alerts on the text message. And what this happens is that if this starts to win, meaning I'm getting these live alerts on the line move. And whenever the line moves like this, it's telling me, it sends me a text message. So what I've been doing is actually throwing on some bets live, because what's happening sometimes, it'll give me a lot of value. So again, I'm not going to get too much into these crazy details, but basically right now this morning I got this text message and it said 8:13 a.m. and it said that the Phillies went up 30 cents. So they started at a 248, they went to a 278. The Brewers went from 152 to 161. Now I did the research on these 2 games, and I'm actually going to stay away from them. And the reason I'm staying away from the Phillies is that they do have the best pitching on paper, but it's super overpriced at 278. I mean, there is no way I'm touching that game at 278. And I don't believe that the Phillies are going to win by 2 runs. I'll show you exactly why. But it's good to know this because the line obviously is shifting in their favor. But it's also good to know the stats behind why this might be happening. On top of that, I already know that the Brewers, they went from 152 to 162 because they have Henderson, which is their ace pitcher, on the mound. And the price, again, is super expensive. And if I can get it cheaper than that, meaning I can watch this live and I can get like the odds of -130 or something like that, I can take the Brewers or the Phillies if they start losing the game. However, again, this is good to know. So the reason I show you all this is because I'm going to start doing this inside the Discord. If you go to the link in the description, click on the Sharp Edge, and you'll get 7 days for free, and that includes the Discord. So I'll start throwing some of this stuff in there as well, as I see that if it starts winning. All right, so now the research I like to start here is the best and worst teams. You can see this has crossed 506 games in 14 days. So the upset rate, like yesterday, was a big upset for us, for the Yankees. So the upset rate is actually not that crazy. It's a 43%. And what this means is that whenever they're favored, like the overall, this is the overall picture, 57% of the teams actually win when they're favored. 43% win as underdogs. Okay, so baseball is much different than other sports. That's something to be aware of. Right now, the highest return on investment, or I'm sorry, not return on investment, but the highest hit rate is Houston. They are literally the top team right now. So the best performing teams right now are the Astros, the Red Sox, the Diamondbacks, the Braves, and the Padres. Yesterday, I told you the Braves were looking decent, but I was staying away because the Diamondbacks were also looking decent. And I explained all that, and sure enough, the Diamondbacks won the game. So this is good to know. And actually, this page that you're looking at right here, it's free. So go to the third link in the description, and this you don't even have to put your email or anything, and it gives you this page right here, and it refreshes every single morning. Now, those are all the best teams that I just mentioned. But on the flip side of that, let's talk about the worst teams. You got the Athletics, the Angels, the Nationals, the Phillies, and the Mariners. Now, the Phillies, again, they're super expensive, almost at a minus 300 as a favorite, but they've been sucking completely. So, again, we took them the other day. They won 8-0. But again, this is a very good indication on why you should maybe stay away, especially with them being this expensive. So, if you did not have this information, it's harder to predict stuff like that. So, another thing to look at here is the notable matchups for today. You can see the Reds are number 7 and the Athletics are number 30. So that's a mismatch of 30 ranking units, meaning 7th rank versus 30th rank. The Athletics are literally the worst team right now. And we got the Mariners versus the Tigers. Tigers are number 9 and the Mariners are number 27. So again, it's a mismatch of 18 ranking points. So just this is good to know. That does not mean I'm taking the Reds or the Tigers today, but sometimes it does make sense to take a look at this because there is a huge mismatch. And on top of the mismatch, as far as the rankings go, then you got great pitching, better batting, and stuff like that. So it's always good to look at this. Again, this page is free. So go to the third link in the description, and then you can just refresh this every morning. Now let's start with the first pick, guys. The first pick I'm going to go with is the Guardians. You can see the line moved from 8 cents. It's going in the Guardians' favor. The win probability is 60%. The deep research does say it's in Cleveland's favor. Expert insights also say Cleveland. OPS is dramatically different. You can see Cleveland is number 7 on base percentage, and the Mets are number 30. Also, it's the sports books are saying that the Cleveland is supposed to score between 4 and 5 runs or over 5 runs compared to the Mets. So that's a differential of 1 run. If we look at the sharp plays, it also tells us to look at the Cleveland Guardians right here with a strong confidence of 7. Now, if we look at the sharp line monitor, again, this is a Sharp Edge tool. You can get this for 7 days for free. So we're looking at the sharp line monitor, and you can see it only moved 5 points. So it went from a 144 to a 149. So that is not dramatic. On top of that, I don't like to see that it's actually coming back up. So it went down to like 153, and then it came back up all the way to 149. But you can see it's starting to drop down again. So this is actually not a good sign for the Guardians. I still like the other stats based on this game. One thing I built like about a month ago, but I hardly ever paid attention to it because it's already inside my automatic processes that happen. But now I actually want to physically look at this every morning now. So for example, I'm looking at the Guardians, and what this does is that it looks for the batter versus pitcher. So right here it's saying Joey Castillo is left-handed and Sean Manaea is left-handed. So for the Mets, it's a left-handed pitcher. For the Guardians, it's a left-handed pitcher. If we look at the rest of the stats, meaning the batters, you can see the left versus left-handed pitcher. It's pretty strong over here for the Mets. A 270, a 228, a 245, a 230. So pretty much every single one of these players gets good hits off left-handed pitchers. If we reverse that and look at the Guardians now, they're not that good. I mean, they are good, but not as what do you call it? As steady as these guys are. So 212, 295, 355, 148, 186, and etc. So they are similar in how they look. But on top of that, you can see there's no prior matchups over here. And the other thing that I mentioned is the OPS. The on-base percentage for the Mets, they're literally the worst team for getting on base. Compared to the Cleveland Guardians, I believe they're number like 8 or something like that. But the overall picture, if you just take a quick snapshot of this, the Guardians do outnumber the Mets dramatically with the batter versus pitcher and the OPS. This is one thing I'm starting not to like, especially this late into the season. So one of the things that I noticed here is that the public is all over this. You can see it's 80% of the bets, 81% of the money is coming in on Cleveland. I don't like to see that. Yesterday that burned us because of the Yankees. So I'm going to start watching that. If that's becoming an issue, then I'm going to stay away from these type of games. But right now, I'm going to still place it because everything else is aligning towards Cleveland. Expert insights, just like I said, goes towards the Mets. I'm sorry, the Mets right here are just trash as underdogs. They're only hitting at a 16% whenever they start as underdogs, and they've been sucking pretty bad. So I've already explained this on the over-unders for the runs, and I already kind of broke down how good Joey Castillo is compared to Sean Manaea. And yeah, Cleveland is actually number 7 on OPS compared to number 30 for the Mets. So that is a huge mismatch on the batting. So the first play I'm taking, guys, is the Guardians on the money line. I'm going to give you guys one more play. Please make sure to subscribe. Also, check out the free picks. Check out the VIP. Right now, I'm offering in the pinned comments. It's going to be a 3-day VIP pass for free. So check that out. It's going to be in the pinned comment. I'm going to give you guys one other strong play. This is probably the strongest play on the board, but it's a very public play. So be careful. All right, next play on the board, guys, is the Dodgers. I'm taking these straight up on the money line. I'm also parlaying it with a different game, but that's inside the VIP already. So for the Dodgers, I will tell you that it's expensive at a 195. However, there's a reason it's so expensive, and I'm going to explain why. The only issue is I don't trust them to win by 1.5 runs. Because the Cubs are actually decent and the Cubs are good at home. Plus, they have some of the best bats. But all of that is negated with the pitcher that's already there for the Dodgers, which I'm going to explain. However, I've been burned in the last couple of days with going with the -1.5s, parlays, and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pay the juice. I'm going to go with the money line on this. Let me explain the game on why I'm taking them on the money line. So again, as you can see, the sharp plays does say to go with the -1.5. I'm not doing that. I'm taking them on the money line, and there's reasons for that. So it is actually saying money line should be auto skipped because it's so expensive at a -195. But again, I'm not taking the risk. I'm taking it on the money line. Massive advantage for the Dodgers. One of the trades that was hit the charts was Scuball from the Tigers went over to the Dodgers. So he is literally the best pitcher on the entire slate for today, and Assad is regressing. So overall, this is a huge mismatch for pitching. Again, the line went from 191 to 198. You can see the public money's all over it. 84% of the bets, 94% of the money. Again, I'm going to be watching this stuff. If I'm losing with this strategy, meaning that the public is all over it, I'm going to start reducing that risk. But for now, I'm going to still go with it. You can see the Dodgers are supposed to score under 5.5 runs compared to 3.5. So that's literally a mismatch of 2 runs in this game. And like I mentioned, this guy, Scuball, is literally the best pitcher on the mound for today for the entire slate. So he's got a 2.60 FIP, and he's got a 2.79 ERA. The only thing with the Scuball is that it's his first game as a Dodger. So this might be a little bit like, I don't know what to call it. And on top of that, they're on the road. Obviously, he's been playing with the league for many years already. But it's, one of these things where I mentioned previously that I don't know if he's going to be pissed. I don't know if he's happy. I saw the interview that he talked about how he was happy that the Tigers, took him in and dealt with his bullshit while he was tanking and stuff like that. And he was happy to be a Dodger now. So again, this is his first game, and we really don't know how he's going to come out swinging or if he's going to come out decent or shitty, whatever. So that is the risk on top of that. So that's why I'm not taking the -1.5. I'm taking them straight up on the money line. Bullpen on top of that is much better. So if he does start shitting the bed, they'll pull him, and the bullpen should cover that. The overall picture, again, is the Cubs are kind of sucking right now as far as OPS on base percentage, and the Dodgers are decent. So the little bit of things that the Cubs have, meaning how strong they are on the getting on base and stuff like that, that's going to be diminished a lot by Scuball and the bullpen. So one thing I will show you here is that the overall picture for Assad versus the Dodgers, they don't have a lot of information on this. So there's no prior matchups for 3 different players. However, the ones that they do have, you can see the batting average compared to this guy. It's pretty much a 1-1, 400, and a 1. So they get a lot of hits off this dude. If you look at Screwball over here, they do get a lot of hits as well, but not as much as this guy. Now, if you look at these red numbers, basically the bottom of the lineup of the Cubs, they suck against Screwball. On top of that, Screwball is going to be a much better pitcher for today. He is one of the best pitchers on the mound for today, like I mentioned several times. Just look at the last thing I'll mention here is the strikeout rate. This guy strikes out 10 pitchers per 9 innings compared to 6 pitchers per 9 innings. The FIP is better and the ERA is better as well. The last reason I'm going to go with the money line and not the spread is that you can see Chicago leads 9 out of 12 categories in the stats. So they have been monsters, but they're actually falling off now. And they're going against a very strong pitcher plus very strong batting. And like I said, the Cubs were very, very hot, and now they're actually declining. So overall picture, I like them on the money line, but not the spread. So I do like the Dodgers on the money line, but I'm not taking them on the spread. Let's get to 5,000 subscribers, guys. Also, check out the pinned comment. You're going to get 3 days in the VIP for free. I did not show all the plays that I have in there for today. There's about, I don't know, 8 or 9 plays so far today. I think that's going to be it because, like I said, yesterday was a shitty day, so I'm going to just kind of be careful a little bit today. But there is about 8 plays in there so far. So if you want access to those, go to the pinned comment. Also check out the Sharp Edge tool, and let's get to 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Let's have a great day.